you for my love. So, guys, welcome back. On TikTok, a troubling trend is said to be growing where parents are using their infants for viral fame or profit. Behind the cute clips lies a serious issue that needs attention from parents and from regulators. Joining us this morning to discuss infant stars, the hidden costs of digital fame is Tea-House Therapy clinical psychologist Cindy Andrews. Good morning. Thanks for joining us this morning.
How are you?
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
It's good to have you. Cindy, is this a real thing?
Yes, it is actually.
Yeah?
And we're seeing it growing over time. So while normally we would see a lot of it happening in the foreign media, where parents are posting their children, having them do cute dances, dressing up in costumes, recreating skits. We're now seeing that it's growing in the Caribbean, where our local parents are also using this as an opportunity to not just share some fun moments that their children may be experiencing, but also in the age of monetizing media, they're also using it as a possibility of gaining income from the posts based on how viral it goes sometimes.
There are two concerns I have. I'll start with the first one. The more they monetize, it's the more they're motivated to do things with the children that I feel puts the children at risk. Like you'll see children falling off a sofa and them say, stop doing that. I am befuddled as to why I would put my child. And when people say, why didn't you catch the child? They're like, you didn't see the whole thing. What drives that? Money drives that kind of thinking?
Well, to be fair,
yes,
we have to think about it from two parts. One, we're seeing that as the economy shifts, there are several ways that we are now seeing that online communities have been able to generate income for persons. Now, the challenge with that is it's a hit or miss. We don't always know what the algorithm would respond to that would allow persons to say, oh my gosh, this is viral, this is trending, and even how likes, comments, and shares even translate into actual cash.
Right.
Because you could see a post that has 1 million views and it makes like $5. And you would think, wow, that's crazy. For all of that likes, all of that engagement, it doesn't always translate into that type of funding. But you're right, we don't always see the entire clip, but even when things are staged and recreated, it can break up the developmental stages that a child is supposed to go through, how they're supposed to respond and interact with the world in a way that is meaningful to how they're supposed to grow. So when we see parents staging or asking children to recreate what should be natural moments, we often see them disrupting that natural developmental growth in terms of how they're able to play, how they're able to learn and communicate and respond to social cues in the environment.
Yeah. A lot of people listening to you now saying, want to Cindy and Delia, man.
Money have to make.
Cute. I just some parents, I mean, in this day and age, it's like sending your kid on an audition, right? There's a medium, you can do it instantly. What's the problem?
Now, Simone, you said an audition. An audition is time and place. What we're seeing is that a lot of parents are disrupting the natural order.
So that's what I want you to expound on, because
Yes.
I'm saying there are people watching who are saying, Cindy's talking foolishness. It's my baby.
Right. Yeah.
I just make him smile, I drop off the chair and boom.
Right.
What's the issue with that?
So one of the issues is that when we see children growing normally without the influx of social media and the advancement of technology, they are allowed to explore. There are different stages and milestones that they have to meet in order for them to successfully make it through in their adulthood. They have to learn how to trust the world. They have to learn how to develop their exploratory skills. How do I know if I'm good at something? That's self-mastery. And when we begin to introduce that social media component, that always recording, it breaks that down. If children learn that what they're doing is based on whether or not they're going to be applauded for it, or if there's going to be some good audience outcome, it breaks up whether or not they'll take initiative to do tasks. So we'll see children having a hard time wanting to engage in maybe practicing the piano unless their parents are recording it for people to see.
It's always a performance.
Yes, it's always a performance.
Doesn't it also affect their long-term validation of self?
Yes, and it can cause children anxiety if they feel as if some of the actions that they're doing will not yield a favorable response. It also can result in bullying. If parents are posting humiliating experience of children, maybe tantrums, them not being able to potty train well at a certain age, our digital footprint exists outside of that cute moment or that fun clip that is being shared. And we all have cell phones. Unfortunately, so many children who are under the age of 7 have cell phones, and they're gonna see it. And they're going to go into their different spaces outside of the household, and they're going to be labeled the sassy one, the one who always cries, the one who's rude, and then they may be locked into that type of personality.
Follow back
Yeah,
on you
also,
for,
yeah, I was about to say you can't get rid of it years to come. There was a time, and there must have been a thinking behind it, where children were protected in terms of their image and so on being made public.
Yes.
Even for us here in the media, we cannot expose too much. And there's a reason behind that. But with the parents now, that's gone through the window, no?
Yes. And again, we cannot say that they're wrong for wanting to share
No, absolutely.
their children's lives, because, you know, sharing on social media has allowed us to be able to connect with our communities that are far away, our aunties in Mobay or grandmothers in Miami. They get to now experience some of these moments that they would miss being far away. But when we have taken away the opportunity for a child to say yes or no as they continue to develop in this age of whether or not their content should be posted or shared online, later on in life it becomes harder for this child to establish boundaries. It becomes harder for them to communicate and think that their voice would be heard if at home, if mommy says I need to shoot a video, then I have to shoot it. If I have to miss nap time, if I have to rearrange a whole family schedule in order to make content in hopes that it will be the next trending thing, then children have no sense of order. It limits their ability to focus. They become easily distractible. They're not able to even follow simple instructions because a lot of what they're doing now becomes a staged thing, and they cannot function outside of that immediate period.
So at 8 or 9 or 10, then they may fully be aware that I don't want to do this thing that mommy is asking me to do. But at 6 months or a year, there's still a risk.
There's still a risk. And one of the interesting things is research shows that we should actually limit social media, that kind of technology engagement in children under 2 years. With the exception of video chat, we should not expose our children directly to video and social media content because it actually limits the ability to learn how to respond appropriately to social cues. You know, during those early ages, that's where they're learning how to feed off of their caregiver's energy. And if every time they're learning their first words or they're learning to walk, a phone is introduced, something as simple as eye-to-eye contact that would fuel that engagement is broken. Something as simple as reinforcing or soothing is no longer present, and that kind of affects how children see the world, whether or not it's safe for them to want to continue to do things if they don't have that in their environment.
Girl, I want to ask you about how to fix that in adults. Because the emotional intelligence
A lot of the times it's
quotient has
vicarious.
gone woo because of
Vicarious
social
living.
media. So where's the balance? Because, I mean, I have friends who have young ones, and I love to see them often on social media that's doing cute things. But where's the balance?
So some of the things that we need to take into consideration are, one, does this violate the rights of my child? Am I sharing information that is going to make my child easily identifiable? We spoke about in the media there are restrictions in terms of what you can share. Am I sharing street names, logos of my child's school? Am I sharing personal moments such as bath time, medical issues, even punishment or scolding them? Am I allowing my child, once they're able to verbalize that they don't want to participate in the video, to say no? Am I respecting that no? And if I want to share, what audience am I sharing with? Is it just a WhatsApp family group chat that I'm sharing an album with? Or have I created a social media account for my child that I'm posting and managing and hoping to make connections with? Because the thing about it is, we are in a space that prioritizes that online presence. And we have had successful children stars. But part of that also puts them at risk for not having their rights respected if at home it's not present.
Doesn't it also affect the parenting style as well? Because sometimes when I see even the children crying and they're filming, and I'm like, put the phone down and hug the child, put the phone down and solve the problem for the child. Like the child is crying, traumatized, and we're filming. Are you seeing that it's also affecting how effective parenting is.
Yes, so we are seeing some changes in parenting styles in terms of what persons will allow. But again, that is also an age-old debate about whether or not children should be immediately soothed versus allowing them to learn how to self-regulate. Now, the challenge with that is when we only see a small clip on the media, we're not sure what is happening in terms of the full context.
Okay.
So yes, there are some disadvantages to always having your child on camera because they won't know.
Everything becomes performative.
Yes, it becomes performative, and then they also get exposed to things that aren't age appropriate because we would see some children doing dances or saying words that we wouldn't normally allow children to say just because it's trending. And now there's this disconnect in terms of what is allowed and acceptable for a child at this age.
I've actually seen videos like that where kids under the age of 5 are cursing bad words and everybody's laughing because it's cute. You know, this really is something that we need to think about more seriously. Like even as I sit and talk to you, Cindy, I'm thinking about my own child. And I was so afraid to post her until she got to a certain age. And even now, if I'm posting something with her, I ask her, are you okay with this? But even before I used to post, I realized, you know, just from living publicly enough, like I used to take her on the road and people would just come up and try to hug her or without any kind of online presence. So you also put your child at a certain level of exposure and risk where people feel like they know them or they will try to violate their boundaries. And as kids, they don't know how to set the boundaries for themselves. You have to step in. So it's a real concern that I think we need to take more seriously. Cindy, and you shed some serious light that we need to.
So, fun fact as we wind down, France and Illinois has actually put regulations in place following the developments over the years in terms of one, if children are being used for content, that they have dedicated trust funds where the money goes towards, as well as rules and guidelines for what can be shared and how children should be treated within that space. I'm also taking into consideration labor laws that may apply to children who are now content creators or brand influencers. So those are some things that we can also look into as we think about what does regulating this thing is, because we can't tell them don't do it, but what we can do is ensure that children can be protected within this space until they are able to advocate for themselves.
Very well done, lady.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good job, Cindy. Sonia, you lucked out with this one.
Yes.
Very, very smart and adept counselors and psychologists at Tea House Therapy. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Clinical psychologist Cindy Andrews from Tea House Therapy.
Coming up, we're talking womb wellness. Say that 3 times.
Womb wellness, womb wellness, womb wellness.
You're not bad. Don't.